Alright, so today we're going to talk about Brittany Simone? Simone? I don't know. But I can't say her last name, I forgot. But let's just get into it. You see, the thing with Brittany that had me on the fence about her in the beginning was that she had said a couple of comments about people that she rates as a number one. She has her level system from one to five, five being the most introspective you can possibly be, and one being completely not introspective. And she said a couple of things along the lines that uh, ones are like so worthless that they can't even kill themselves, and a few other things. And I want to take this time to let's look at the things that she has said that were questionable, and then we'll get into other things because there are some good things about her. But let's talk about this first. So she made this claim, but I've been watching her videos, and later on she made a statement that shows that this isn't her opinion in the sense that she doesn't want people to kill themselves because they're ones. Because a lot of the problems around her is that people believe that the way she preaches would cause people to believe that eradicating ones would be good. And everybody's different, so anybody can take a group of people and say they are all ones and they're not introspective at all, so we should get rid of them or something like that. But that's not really what she was saying. She actually went on to say that she wouldn't tell anybody that they should kill themselves. That's just like outrageously horrible, and she wouldn't do that. And she made a like she said she wouldn't even do that to, and then like X, type of people that you probably wouldn't care about. And she was like she wouldn't tell them to kill themselves neither, like people who have actually done something wrong. Um, so I was thinking that maybe she has this opinion about ones, but like maybe she has this opinion about ones, but it isn't flush out. Like it isn't perfect yet. She's still learning and she's still changing the things that she believes. Um, the big problem with saying things like that about ones is that there's going to be a group of people that believe they're ones but are actually like threes, or fours. Because I've listened to what how she describes her levels, and I'm like, sometimes you can't really tell the difference between a one and a four, because a four is very introspective, but they don't feel like they are. Um, but I guess I'm projecting because I'm not sure if she would agree with that. But the thing is that I don't actually think that she means harm to ones. And I know that other people may have different beliefs around that. I've seen her talks with Mr. Girl and a few other people. But yeah, All right, but now when I think about her persona, her character, I realize something that she's very judgmental, but not in a bad way. Let me explain that. Let me elaborate. Um, she looks at things and people and makes judgments to try to understand, not to, you know, like it's not in with the intent to make fun of the person for it or anything. I that's kind of I'm kind of finding it hard to explain, but she seems to be very open. Um, and she realizes that everybody is going to experience reality different. Um, and she doesn't necessarily say that anybody else's way is wrong, which is kind of really, how do I say, it feels a lot like certain beliefs within Hinduism. Like Hindus believe that Christians, that is a way to obtain your relationship with God. Hindus think that all the religions are valid. The other religions think that Hinduism is false, but Hinduism says that, pretty like there was like this really wise Hindu that said for every man there's his own religion. And even if you follow an organized religion, you're most likely going to be following it in your particular way. And other people within the religion might not approve of your way. Um, and I think she realizes that because I feel like some of the things that she talks about seem like she feels it's a spiritual thing, but she's atheistic, and I'm atheistic and very spiritual at the same time. It's just that my spirituality is very physical. Like I worship things like the forest, like nature and itself, things that actually exist, or laws that actually exist. Like within physics and shit like that. And how you call like I feel like she's trying to make like I feel like she's trying to do some sort of thing that's spiritual in nature, but she's trying to separate herself from that label of spirituality. Like I know that she does do a few things that are somewhat spiritual, like tarot cards, and I'm actually in the freaking middle of making a pack of tarot cards, but they're not necessarily tarot cards. There's actually 5 decks with 18 cards each, and each deck represents a certain thing. One is death, one is fear, another one is passion, then love, and then truth. And these cards have a series of questions written on them. And when you pull out, like when you shuffle a deck, someone chooses a deck, you shuffle it, you pull out a card, you read the series of questions and have a conversation about it. And it's supposed to lead you into doing shadow work the way that Carl Jung kind of believed in it. Like the way that he wrote about it. Like my spirituality is very based on psychology. Like the gods aren't real to me. They are more mythology and representations of our subconscious. Like all of spirituality is just psychology. And some parts of psychology, like Carl Jung's psychology with the ego, the no no can't remember the word. Carl Jung, whatever. Let's get over that because I'm not gonna remember anytime soon. But yeah, pretty much I understand a lot of these things now from what my perspective, from what I've seen from her. She doesn't want to be a guru, you know. She actually does things to make sure that that doesn't happen, and I'm a little different because I've have about 10 years of 10 years of experience within the occult and spirituality. Even though I'm atheistic, I've experienced a lot of things and I know how to do certain things. So, my particular way of doing things is uh, uh, my knowledge would be a spiritual thing. Is just that my definition of spiritual is different than the average person. You know, like the average theistic Hindu believes in chakras. You know, you got your crown chakra, your third eye, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus, and so on and so on. Right? There's like two more underneath, or three more. I don't know, but in my way of doing it, because Hinduism can be practiced as an atheist also, these are just objects of meditation, which means when you meditate on the particular thing, and then your subconscious associates certain things with that object. And then you can go into this deep trance where you start to think. Most people think that you're supposed to stop thinking, but that's a specific type of meditation where you try to be quiet to gain a certain control so that you're able to quiet down when you need to, which is very beneficial for your mind. Um, but a lot of the meditation that you would do is about sitting down, closing your eyes, visualizing, and meditating on a particular thing. You know, so you can meditate on the crown chakra and everything that your subconscious associates with that. But like, I'm gonna get more in depth with my way of doing things throughout the next videos that I make. But right now, you see, I feel like Brittany is operating on a level like as if she had the amount of knowledge that I have on these subjects. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, I know more than her, but it just it feels weird. It feels a little weird because it seems like she's before I say anything, let me say I don't dislike her. She's actually really cool and pretty, and she seems like a cool person to talk to. But I don't understand why you gotta pay $250 to talk to her for an hour. That doesn't make sense. And I feel like she has this philosophy that people are following, but the philosophy doesn't really hold on to anything. It's so open that you're not taking any positions. And I think that's kind of bad for society. You know, the um you see, how do I say this? Let me take a look. All right. You see, um, the thing is this. She speaks as if she's seen the truth, but her truth is only half baked. She still believes in certain things that we can prove is false. So she's it's not like all of her beliefs are 100% true, but she speaks about it as it is true, and her people, her fans, eat it up. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing, because if I'm not gonna force someone to not believe in a certain thing, but she seems to validate these beliefs, and it doesn't make sense to me. She's very adamant that we have free will, and the philosophy around it, and just the language, shows us that's not true. You know, like in the begin, like let's start off with this. So free will, we're assuming that this label, free will, is saying that the will is free, meaning not subject to any other force, not influenced by any other force. But the thing is that your will is directly influenced by your beliefs. All of your beliefs influence how you're going to act. When there's a decision to be made, you think very fast, and from everything that you know, you're going to say, I should do this, right? So all of those personal experiences, all of that stuff that's in your head prior to the decision, is what chooses your outcome. So your will isn't free. You can't make a decision that goes against what you believe. Because if right in the moment you believe this is right and this is wrong, what exactly is influencing you to make the wrong decision? If you know this, like you feel this is right, this is wrong, right? Just based off of what you know. Um, Now you might want to say, oh, well, it's still possible for me to go for the wrong one, even though I feel it's wrong. Yes, but why are you doing that? There has to be a belief behind the reasoning. Every one of your reasons, every one of your actions is tied to a specific how you call belief. So if you choose the wrong side, it's because you believed that that was the correct choice to make because of whatever reasoning you can come up with, right? So your will isn't free. It's directly linked to what you believe. That's why in my philosophy and my religion, I try to teach people that the main goal is to understand what you want. Understand what you want, understand what you need to do to get what you want, and then to make decisions very strategically. If there's something you're doing for absolutely no reason, you just don't do it anymore. Unless there's a reason. If it brings you pleasure, then sure, do it. But if it's for absolutely no reason, you don't even like it, then you need to stop. Right? And there's more to be learned um, within all of the stuff that I'm trying to talk about. But I just feel that Britney, you know, bless her heart, but she's like, she believes that she's enlightened, but she hasn't actually done the work to understand what enlightened means. And she might have found something similar. I'm not saying that what she's doing is wrong. It's just that I don't think she understands the whole concept of enlightened to its fullest. And shit, if I doubt she's gonna see this video, but if she did, I would love to talk about. I don't even think I'm able to do it because I'm doing my stuff off of the phone. But I would love to talk to her about my philosophy, because another thing about her levels, you see, the thing is that her levels are predicated specifically on level of introspectiveness. So from 1 to 5, it's how introspective you are. But even though she tries to say that there's morality involved, technically the way that she shaped it, morality is completely like optional. Like, morality isn't really in the equation. And she says that a level 5 wouldn't be a bad person, but that doesn't make sense because I'm sure that Hitler, a 5. So put it like this: I think that it's possible for Hitler to have been a 5. He could have been extremely introspective and understood his desires and wants and everything, and said, I'm willing to do bad things to do it. Or maybe he thought that these bad things were good things because he was doing it to the Jews. You see, so in Hitler's eyes, he could have been a 5, and he thought he was doing the right thing. So by her perspective, even Hitler can be a 5. And that doesn't make sense to me. You see, the way I look at it, a specific, you have to have a specific ethical code within your philosophy to let people know what you approve of and what you don't approve of, so that if somebody chooses to follow your philosophy, they know what's prohibited and what's recommended. And for me, my morality boils down to something very simple: decrease suffering in myself and others, increase pleasure to myself and others. That's all I gotta do. And if if there's an exchange where suffering and pleasure come together, it can still be done as long as everyone consents. Like mountain biking or something, you might fall off a cliff and die, but if it gives you a rush and you enjoy it, you should be allowed to do it. So, and yeah, and I think, I don't know if Brittany has ever done mushrooms, but I think that a couple of mushroom trips would get her to see things a little differently. But hey, what do you know? But yeah, overall, Brittany's cool. I like her. But I feel that she's sort of, I don't know how to say it, because I feel like, all right, if I achieved what she achieved, I would be pretty happy with that. But I don't think that her philosophy is that worked out. Like, there's a lot of things that are important, and she doesn't necessarily take a position in any direction. She, and like I think if she took some more hard stances on where she stood, that would be pretty good. All right, but I don't want to ramble on all day. Overall, I like Brittany. It would be cool to talk to her, but I don't know. I think she needs some help working out her philosophy and like what she's talking about, because the level system on its own is very shallow. It's just the level system is just talking about how often do you ask yourself questions. Like most people do that a lot, but just because you choose a specific lifestyle doesn't mean you're not introspective. So some of the people she sees as twos can still be fives because they're probably very introspective, but they chose to believe a certain thing, like religion or something. So they seem like twos. It's just very. It's not a clean cut. But I digress. My way of doing things is a little bit different, and I'm going to get into that in the rest of my videos. Um, I have I have pretty much practiced uh, different spiritualities. I'm more uh, in tune with left hand paths. So I've learned a lot of African spirituality, the darker side of Hinduism, darker sides of Buddhism and Taoism. And dark, it isn't evil, it's just different. Um, like personally, within my practice, a lot of it is left hand path because I deny the Abrahamic God, and within literature, anybody that renounces the God of Abraham. So if you're not Jewish, Christian, or Muslim, then you're a pagan. You're worshiping other gods. Now, in my religion, I don't necessarily worship gods at all. I worship myself. Uh, these gods are it's just a mythology and a way to work with your subconscious and to motivate yourself in certain ways. It's stories that you can learn things from. But even there, by me claiming myself as God, it is directly against the Abrahamic God. So some people would see this method as satanic. Believing that you are your own God is satanic. Um, some people might disagree because they don't like the word Satan. Like they believe that it's wrong or bad. But there's more to be known about it. It's not that cut and dry. Now, there's a big difference between the literature and what theistic Satanists do. There are theistic Satanists that, actually sacrifice animals and stuff. There's a lot of African spiritual practices where they sacrifice animals. My practice does not sacrifice animals. You're not allowed to hurt animals unless you're eating them. But even then, you have to do it humanely. You're never allowed to hurt a child in any manner, form, or way. This is different. This isn't devil worship. It's self worship. It's about reducing your suffering and the suffering of your families and friends, and then increasing pleasure and making sure that people are happy and fulfilled, and helping people achieve their dreams so that they can feel better and have a better experience within this life. Because within my philosophy, I believe that most likely when we die, we go back to where we was before we were born, and you didn't exist before you were born. So that's what's going to happen. It's just going to be non-conscious, like unconscious, like you can't tell anything. There's no personality, there's no knowledge, there's no nothing. It's just blank. So we have to make this life be the best it can possibly be, and try to live it for as long as possible with as much health and mobility as possible, so that when we're 80, we're still going out and, taking trips, seeing the world, doing all types of cool stuff, freaking jumping out of airplanes and stuff, like anything exciting. Like the whole point is to live your life to the fullest. Try to work on little things you can do to make more money. The more wealthy you are, the more able you are to do uh, amazing things. So yeah, my philosophy is a little more robust than Britney's, and I don't really mean to put it up against hers. Like I don't, but let's be honest. Let's be honest. Like technically, it's clout. Because I do believe that my philosophy is a little more robust and has way more to teach than what she's offering. And if I did talk to people, I would probably charge $50 for the hour. Um, and I have a lot of knowledge on religion, spirituality, psychology, a couple of sciences. I really like physics and chemistry. Um, so I know a little bit about a lot, and I do a lot of different art. So like I have a lot of hobbies. Like I know a lot about working out, doing powerlifting. So like there's a large range of people that I can help. If you needed like advice on how to get stronger or bigger muscular, I can do that. If you wanted to talk to someone to try to figure yourself out, I can do guided shadow work with you so that you can learn about yourself and discover yourself and try to change the parts that you want to change and embolden the parts you want to embolden. So there's a lot of shit that I offer when I talk about these things. Um, but alright, I guess I'm gonna call it quits here because, yeah, there isn't much I need to say. I'm making more videos about my philosophy and how it works and why you should follow it. But hey,